Anyways. D-Mac. Okay, I do want to put this one to bed because we are getting to that time where we're going to go deep into football. That's coming up very, very soon. Training camp's what, week and a half away? Something like that, and some crazy number. But D-Mac, we've talked about DeBrincat and what he brings and how will the Red Wings react and what are the line combinations. I think what's getting lost in the sauce with all this, and look, I've driven a hard bargain about Dylan Larkin, and that's fair and that's accurate. And Steve Yzerman drove a hard bargain with Dylan Larkin, and that's fair and that's accurate. I'll tell you this, D-Mac, maybe what I'm more intrigued by, just being real with you right now, just cutting the shit and just being real with you right now, I feel like I have a base of knowledge knowing what I get with Alex DeBrincat. I'm curious to see, will Alex DeBrincat, is he good enough to unlock Dylan Larkin? I don't want to say unlock like he's been a bust or anything like that. No, he's been pretty much a point-a-game guy last season. I'm fine with that. That's all I asked for. I branded him. If he's your second center, you're a Stanley Cup contender, period, end of story. But with all this, D-Mac, can DeBrincat take Larkin to another level, I guess, is my question.
And you know what? I'm not even just going to answer that. The question here is, right, is Alex DeBrincat just a 40-goal guy, or does he make players around him better? Right? That's the question. Now, if we look at Alex DeBrincat, you find the back
and D-Mac, hold on real quick.
Yep.
Let me cut you off on this real quick. Because he's just being compensated as a 40-goal guy right now. The value with him, if he unlocks people, that's different.
And here's the value also, is listening to Steve Yzerman talk about him. Right? Here's the biggest thing. Right? The check mark of anything. How long has DeBrincat been in the league?
5 years.
5 years, right? Is that more than enough time to say at a guy his size or whatever, can he compete in this game or not? You've checked that.
Yeah, that's a no.
Right, so forget the size.
That's a no.
Right, he's learned, he knows how to play this game. He's fast enough. He puts the puck in the net. But he's more than that, right? What I think his greatest contribution to, does he make players better around him? And yes, he's got to fall into the system, and they have to be a good, in their own end defensive line. It can't just be offensive stuff, but really what it opens up is the power play. No matter where he is or whatever, opens up and makes everybody else better, right? And you can't put him in the Brendan Shanahan, Brett Hall-ish category yet because it hasn't produced, but you can sort of pencil him in to that. And did Brett Hall, Brendan Shanahan being on the right side of the power play make everybody else better in a talent when our team? Absolutely. So it's like no matter where he's used. I think that, and here's the little thing. When you get to Larkin, the fact is that these guys hang out, right, all summer.
Yeah.
Like even in the past, they golf together. So just a little bit behind the curtain of what the summertime looks like for an NHL player in 2023, right? They'll get up in the morning, 7:30, whatever, go first thing, go eat, go to the rink, go work out, get, probably not skating right now, but putting 2 hours in the gym and stuff like this, having lunch, and then hitting the golf course. All of them doing it together. Now, a lot of it isn't just Red Wings guys, it's NHL guys, whoever's in the area. So guys talk and they build relationships and stuff like this. Now, why does that matter? It's the same thing as if we're talking football and we hear Jared Goff throwing passes to Amon-Ra St. Brown in the, in the summertime, before camp, away from things, right? So they're working on that. What do you develop? You develop that camaraderie and stuff, and that's what's being built there. So I look to Alex DeBrincat to not only add, and to Steve Yzerman to add it more. And when he does, and if he finishes it off and these guys are winners, Neil, then he gets paid accordingly.
Rad Dad Scott, DeBrincat's such an underrated playmaker too. Mike G says, Erie Otter fans. I was a simp. They had a hell of a run, dude. They had Connor McDavid and Alex DeBrincat at one time.
And that's the play. So he
think about that.
What does that make you think when Alex DeBrincat played? And automatic. Some people think, oh well, dude, Alex DeBrincat's only good. And that was a knock, right? Was he only coming out of the draft because he played with Connor McDavid?
I know, but then the next year he was by himself and had like 1,000
But
points.
that's what I'm
you know?
saying. So there's also that other level of certain guys that can play with the highest level guys, these meteors like a Connor McDavid, which tells you whoever mentioned that about playmaker, absolutely. This guy's not just a goal scorer, right? He looks to make plays. What's Dylan Larkin's career high goals? 32 or
something like that.
Something like that could open him up a little bit more. I don't think it's at all he's going to revert from a point a game guy. I think he's going to get better to a 1.2 or something like this, you know. And if he does, and that's what DeBrincat brings, it's also he's bringing Raymond along for the ride. That's the bigger one. I'm not worried about Dylan Larkin. Can Alex DeBrincat get, you know, Lucas Raymond up to the 25 goal, 30 goal mark?
And that's, I think, as the season gets closer, that's a discussion. That's my secondary discussion that I want to have, because again, going back to it, I know what DeBrincat is.
So what are top lines, right? Top line. This top line. How many goals does your top line have to put up compared to the rest of the top lines in the league? Is it 100 goals? Is it 90 goals?
90.
90 goals, right?
30 a guy, however that comes. If it's 40 for DeBrincat, 25.
So
and,
90.
You know.
So that's more of, to me, when we're only speculating that it's going to be DeBrincat, Larkin, and Raymond.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure, Derek Lalonde. But the fact is that early on, especially training camp or whatever, you're going to play with different guys and figure it out. Neil, back in the day, what made our team so great, we called it the bingo machine. Scotty'd have the bingo machine, right? Where in practice, we always used to practice different lines than we would in the game. Because in the game, when you get mad, if he'd be good, and he'd take a guy up the grind line, guy up the rush from 5, and somebody else put him on the ice, and they'd go out and score.
And score a goal. Yeah, I do remember that.
And he'd sit there chopping his ice like the genius he was.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Rich Diana says, Phil Collins won a Grammy for Take Me Home. Great tune. I thought that... I never really was big on Take Me Home. I thought that was kind of his Yellow Submarine, you know, like it got a lot of acclaim and everything. I was just like, whatever. I understand people like that. There's a little more to it than Yellow Submarine, which is just a fabrication, but whatever. That's a different discussion for a different day. Dog Pound says, I believe DeBrincat can, Neil. And here's the deal, D-Mac. Like, I talk about secondary discussions. My biggest thing is, what's he going to do for Larkin? What's DeBrincat do for Larkin? What's Larkin do for DeBrincat? But here, the power play for the Red Wings last year, D-Mac, wasn't as bad as I thought it was. They were about middle of the road in the league. But when you go to the top, here's how it reads as you go down. Edmonton, Toronto, Tampa, LA, Dallas, Colorado, the Rangers. You see, what are all those
teams?
Playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you make people pay,
playoffs.
That's it. That's all. God, Edmonton scored 32% of the time on the power play. It was, D-Mac, as I've told you, you know, it was always with the game starting at like 9 o'clock and stuff like that. If I was at the house working on stuff and I heard they were going on the power play, I'd stop what I was doing and watch. And it was fun. And it was a lot of fun to see. That's, for this team to make the playoffs, they do need to approach that top 10 in the power play. And they should. Right?
Yeah,
they should, right?
Yeah, and so that only makes you better. But the whole thing in the
But Larkin's going to be it'll be more Larkin than it will be DeBrincat.
But the biggest thing, right, and I'm arguing here online or in the chat with Katz, right, where he says you need 4 goals a game. No. You got to keep the puck out of your net and under 3 goals, right? And then figure it out, because then when your power play is, you know, top third of the league, right, you can count on it for a goal a game and then grind out the rest. Right, the NHL, right, you hear from Derek Lalonde, his first press conference. You hear from Steve Eisman, yeah, we're adding goals and we're moving to goals. But the dichotomy and the opposites in life is because until you can keep the puck out of the net and keep your goals against down and have a great PK and stuff like that, then you're not one of these championship teams. Right. That's what it is. It's about keeping the puck out of your net.
And again, guys, they're not ready to win the Stanley Cup yet. Even with the transaction we were all dying for and waiting for. They're not. I'm going to keep underscoring that, by the way,
But
D-Mac.
you got to be able to, and here, maybe this makes more sense. To Brandon's point, you have to be able to look at your lineup and can you get 4 goals? if you need it. In the past, like the Wings teams last year and whatever like that.
Did not have that in the bag.
Did not have it. If they got behind it, it was like, and even though they grind it out, now having this guy, having a power play that's lethal, you know that boom, 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 just like the Colorados and the Vegases and the Floridas and the Dallases, right, can turn the game on a dime on a power play.
Yeah.
You have the ability to score 4, 5, and 6 when you need it. When they look at Toronto when they come in here, we got 2-goal leads in the third, and they just go bam, 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 bam. Right? Feed us lunch. You got to be able to do that. But the key to winning consistently is keeping the puck out of your net.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because no one's brought that up.
We're not going to talk about it till like September now or October, training camp. It's football season.
Machiavelli's to go says, thanks, Neil, burst my bubble rule. Sorry, guy, they're not ready to win the Stanley Cup yet. I'm sorry about that. But hey, you want to be around.